My name is Michael Lyman. I'm a project management consultant and a writer for the Simple PMO blog. I work with teams and organizations to help them improve their project processes so they can deliver better results. One aspect of this is the use of checklists. Checklists help create the right amount of focus in situations that are complicated and stressful, or just routine and important. In operating rooms, for example, it's likely that an OR nurse will, as part of the hospital's normal procedure, bring the entire OR to a stop and then start reading down a checklist of items like, "We have identified the correct place to make the incision." This simple act, reading from a checklist, ensures that the important tasks are done. The PMO, or the project team, can help define tasks for a project ahead of time. And using a system like Jira, these tasks can be put directly into the project as soon as it is created. In this video, I'm going to show you how to import Jira issues using CSV, or comma-separated values files. A CSV file is simply a text file with different items or fields or values separated by commas. By separating these values by commas, and by using a plain text format, a CSV file can easily be read and imported by a computer program. This is just a simple example. You've got these different fields: project name, project key, date created, summary, and you'll notice they're each separated by commas. They correspond to specific values. Trail shovel is associated with project name. TS is a Jira project key. This here is the date created. This string down here is related to the summary for the task. You can also look at this in the form of, if you think about this also from Excel or in a tabular structure like that, project name, project key, these would be columns, and these would be the individual values within the columns. In fact, CSV files can easily be created by Excel. Each cell is a separate value. The lines equate to commas. From Excel, you can choose Save As and select a CSV file instead of a workbook to save your data in CSV format. And think about that for a second. If you create task lists in Excel or in another program that uses a tabular structure like Project, you can get that information into a CSV file and then import it into Jira issues that can be tracked and managed and imported and reported. We're going to start with an empty project and import some data into it. We'll only do 10 tasks in this to show you how you might set up a Jira project with an initial set of tasks. So here we have an empty Jira project, the trail shovel project. There are no tasks in it, nothing's been set up, it's merely been created by the administrator. So no tasks. If I go into here to the administer project section, there are no versions. We're going to create a new set of tasks, an initial set of tasks for it. So here I went into System and then to Import Export, and I'm going to go to the external system import, find my CSV files. I'm going to choose my CSV source file, which I could have exported from Excel or some other tabular structure. Here I'm going to use, just to make things a little quicker, an existing configuration file. This does the mapping between what's in the CSV file and Jira fields. It just makes things go a little faster. In here, you can select in this feature, the CSV import, a specific project. This would be useful if you had a default list of tasks that every project had to accomplish, and you wanted to just hand that list of tasks to an administrator, so whenever the administrator created a project, he or she would also have to import these tasks. This would be a very generic list that you could use. In this case, the CSV actually defines the project themselves. This is important because in the CSV, you could have multiple projects be created. So for example, you could have a new project be created for a new project in Jira be created for a project, but you could also have tasks in existing projects or with existing teams that have to be done for your new project. It just gives you a little bit more flexibility. These are just basic examples that you probably would never change anyway. This will show you the field mapping so you can see why having the configuration file helps. It does all the mapping for you. In my particular example, I have the assignee, the person who's going to do it. If there's an attachment, there's a space for attachments. Attachments, by the way, just will read a URL and add the attachment. Comment, date created, description, a fixed version. In this case, I'm using sprints. Issue types. This is a specific issue type. It's a task, but you could do bugs or improvements or custom types. Priority, these are the project information, the reporter, resolution, the status would be open, and then the summary. We'll just do the import. One last thing, value mappings for this. It just wants to make sure that what you call open is truly open and not something else. You could map that here. And now we can do the import. This is an administrative only function. That is, I think, a little bit of a liability. You can't do this inside of an individual project. So you can't have an administrator set up the project, hand the project off to a project manager who then imports the tasks. This would have to be done as part of an administrative effort. If you want to do import tasks afterwards, you'd have to have an administrator access or give the information to an administrator. So we imported fairly quickly. The 20 imported successfully. It did pop up some warnings about the users and some other information about when it was parsing comments. But we'll go back to our project. Let's close the administration tool and then get into our project so we can see it. And now you see that we have, whereas before we had nothing, now we have a project with tasks. We've created 20 tasks. We now have fixed versions in here. And we can start to run through some of these tasks and see what's available. Here are our tasks. If we go back to all of our issues, you can see our issues that are open. I've defined various issues as critical or blockers or just major issues that have to happen. All the assignees are in place. These are people who are going to accept the tasks and are going to use the tasks, or are going to complete the tasks. Also, in this case, I've used sprints or for fixed versions, so you can assign tasks in different versions. And if I go into here, you can see the entire list of 20 tasks. In this case, I'm the reporter because I'm the person setting up the tasks, and these are the people who will be expected, including me, who will be expected to complete the tasks at various times in the project. If you have Greenhopper, you can see these tasks listed out inside of the sprints themselves. So you can see multiple tasks inside the sprints for planning purposes or task purposes. This isn't exactly what you would consider Scrum, to have these things laid out ahead of time, but it gives you a little flexibility. If you know how things are laid out and you want to do things at certain times, you can always lay them out here. So by creating a checklist as part of the Jira project creation, you automatically incorporate the organization's best practices and requirements into every project pretty much automatically. You don't have to think about it before every project. They just come as part of the project plan, project configuration. It's a simple administrative step, and it saves a lot of time and can improve the performance of your project. So thank you very much. Once again, my name is Michael Lyman, and I'm a project management consultant and a writer for the Simple PMO blog. I hope you get something out of this, and please leave me a comment on the blog or otherwise send me a message, and I'd love to talk more about it. Thank you.